What's going on, y'all? My name is Brian Sanchez, and welcome to Living the Magic. Today on a Monday, February 6th, just after the kickoff of Universal Orlando's Mardi Gras season. And I got into a little bit of controversy and discussions, debates on Twitter over the weekend because we noticed something was happening and a little bit of, discourse kind of broke out on Twitter about it. Nothing major, but I noticed something that I want to point out, a little bit of miscommunication, some hypocrisy maybe, if you will, but propose a solution as well, because, it's one thing to point out problems and issues about these kind of things, but if you're just going to rant about the problem and not really have a way of solving that problem, you're not really adding anything to the conversation. But so come along with me on this journey where we talk about something that I have really grown to love about the Universal fandom, this idea of the Mardi Gras Bead Tree. The Bead Tree in City Walk, if you don't know what it is, so Universal Orlando does, of course, these Mardi Gras parades, these parties. They've grown over the years. They're now adding food booths to this. They bring in musical acts to do concerts. It's a fantastic event, so much fun. It is currently going on at Universal Orlando. I believe it's select dates between February 4th, which just kicked off, and it says right here, April 16th of this year, 2023. You can definitely go to the website, check it out. I'll put links to that stuff down below. But I noticed someone on Twitter point out, let me back up. Sorry, the Bead Tree. So what is the Bead Tree? I'm going to put a picture of the Bead Tree up if you're watching this on YouTube. But the Bead Tree is a tree near the parking structure in City Walk that fans have taken to throwing their beads, their plastic beaded necklaces that they get from the parade, onto this tree on the way out. Now, I'll be completely honest. This has been going on for a very long time. I did not know that this was apparently something that happens in Louisiana and New Orleans. I did a little bit of research this weekend, searching for pictures of the Bead Tree and stuff, and it came up that this is apparently something that people do in Louisiana. So this is kind of part of Mardi Gras, the imagery, the tradition, I guess, if you will, to throw beads in the tree, decorate the tree, I guess, as it were. And Universal fans have been doing this to this specific tree. I'm going to go ahead and take the picture down if you're watching. Universal fans have been doing this to this specific tree for years at this point. During the Mardi Gras events, this tree gets covered in beads. And to the point where, at the end of the season or periodically, security, landscaping, whoever it is that's in charge of keeping these trees clean and healthy and all that, have to go and clear them out, but they never really get all of them. And so there's usually always like a handful of beads at least on there throughout the entire year. And it's become a bit of a tradition. It's become a bit of a fan thing. And again, I thought it was just a Universal Orlando Mardi Gras fan thing. I didn't realize it was part of, Mardi Gras tradition at large. And that's where the little bit of controversy comes in, because this year, the first night of the event, Universal posted security guards in front of the Bead Tree and were instructing folks to not throw their beads on the tree. Now, a couple caveats to this and to where my stance is on this. Number one, if security or anyone from Universal Orlando tells you you are not allowed to do something, that is the rule. You should respect that. You should follow the rules. I am not proposing that anyone break the rules. And if that is the decision that Universal Orlando has made, that they do not want folks throwing beads on the tree anymore, then that is the final decision. That should be respected. That should be followed. No problem. My problem comes, though, when there is a t-shirt for sale in the tribute store that currently has a bead tree on it. And again, this could be a specific call to the Bead Tree that's in City Walk. But after doing a little bit of research for this video, that imagery is probably more related to the tradition of throwing your beads on a tree. And so, my initial gut reaction was, you can't have it both ways, Universal. Like, if you don't want us to throw the beads on the tree, totally fine. But then don't profit off the idea of us throwing our beads on the tree. And so there seems to be a bit of hypocrisy, miscommunication, whatever you want to call it, a little controversy around it. And there are a handful of folks that are, a little bit sad about this. It's become a bit of a fun tradition to throw your beads on the tree, and it finally, is gaining a little bit of notoriety online and stuff like that. So here's my solution that I propose. Again, I'm not proposing that anyone throw their beads on any other tree on the property, especially if they're being told not to. If security or any UO team member tells you, do not throw your beads on the trees, do not throw your beads on the trees. But, hey, Universal Creative, how about you give us a bead tree? Something similar to where you have the Christmas tree in New York for the holiday season. Give us a bead tree. How about we build a sort of giant, I think there is not sequoias, like sycamore trees or an oak tree or something like that. Something similar to the kind of trees that you see in New Orleans that is artificial, so that we're not harming the trees. Another big reason why they don't want us throwing on the beads on that tree is because that tree is right next to the main road that goes through property. And so apparently car accidents and stuff. So do this in the park, in a safe, controlled environment. Put it in a spot where we can walk up to a certain spot and toss our beads up onto the tree. And then that way, we're not harming any kind of like living tree that potentially could be damaged or broken by the weight of extra beads on it. We're not throwing beads into oncoming traffic, which again, I totally get. But there should be a bead tree. And why not make it Earl the Squirrel's house? I think Earl the Squirrel should be around for all the events. There should be an Earl the Squirrel for Halloween. There should be a Earl the Squirrel for Mardi Gras. There should definitely be, I love Earl the Squirrel for Christmas. I love that character. Gotta live in a tree. Why don't you put him in the tree, the bead tree that you can give us for this situation? I don't know. I think it would be a fantastic thing. It would be a lot of fun. And, you could market the heck out of it to make it part of the traditions. Give us an artificial tree. I was going to suggest another specific living tree in the park before I thought about just make it an artificial one and make it a big one. And that way you can control what it looks like. But I'm not going to call out that specific tree because I don't want anyone to hear this and then think like, oh, he's saying go throw our beads on this tree instead. But again, if Universal team members, security, groundskeeping, entertainment, anyone is telling you not to do anything in the parks, follow those instructions. They're usually put in for your safety. Things that you may not think about, they have thought about, they have seen them. Those instructions are there for a reason, to keep your safety. A lot of times performers, team members, actors, musicians, their safety. A little bit background on me. I used to work in entertainment at Universal Orlando, and I used to work with stunt performers a lot as a safety spotter. Very oftentimes, I would have to give people instructions or get them out of situations that if I didn't intervene, they were going to be seriously injured. So again, if anyone gives you instructions, please follow them. They're usually there for your safety and for the safety of team members, performers in that situation. Do not throw your beads on any place that is not approved, but Universal, please give us a bead tree. Make it an artificial one. Put it in New York, either in the same spot where you put the Christmas tree, even though I know that's close to where all the food booths are. So maybe put this one over by, the old Ghostbusters show entrance, back where that Halloween Horror House entrance, Halloween Horror Nights house entrance is, where Rip Ride Rocket comes out of the facade for like the Guggenheim up in New York. You guys, you know where I'm talking about. Over there in that corner of the park where there's not a whole lot going on, maybe put a bead tree over there and give us a roped off area where we can walk up, throw our beads safely so no one's getting hurt, but everyone can still have fun tossing their beads. And then you guys can recycle those beads. I mean, I can't imagine the budget that goes into beads during these events. But anyways, what do you guys think? Are you guys upset about the bead tree controversy? Did you know about it? Am I making a mountain out of a molehill? Any of that? Let me know down in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, you can get at me on Twitter. I'm at your primo Brian. And of course, you can always listen to the audio version of this podcast and all the other podcasts that we do at signalpointmedia.com. I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. Thank you so much for watching this video. Happy Mardi Gras. We'll see y'all around. And as always, Congaloosh.